Tattooing and spiritual portals. Are you opening doors to the enemy? Ever wondered if that tattoo you got was more than just ink on your skin? What if each design was opening a portal, one you never even knew existed? Let's dive deep into the spiritual side of tattooing and uncover whether they could be inviting something far darker than you ever imagined. Keep watching, because what you don't know about tattoos might just change everything. The first mark opening a gateway. Have you ever wondered why tattoos, something so seemingly simple, hold such a magnetic power? People get them for a million reasons, but what if there's something deeper beneath the ink? What if you've been told the truth about tattoos all wrong? And more importantly, what if that design on your skin is opening a door to something you never intended? The moment the needle touches your skin, something changes. Not just in the physical realm, but in the spiritual one as well. It's not just ink, it's an imprint, an invitation to the unknown. And once that mark is made, you can't just erase the invitation. Not every design is just art. Some of them are symbols, ancient symbols, with energies and histories far beyond our understanding. And what you may not realize is that some tattoos aren't just personal statements, they are spiritual portals. Portals to realms you might not be ready to face. Because in the world of tattoos, there are symbols that hold great power. Power to protect, power to enlighten, but also power to control, manipulate, and even oppress. So, as you sit there, scrolling through endless tattoo ideas, ask yourself, what am I really inviting into my life with this design? Is it just an aesthetic, or is it something more, something deeper? What if, just by choosing a certain symbol, you've unknowingly opened a door to something darker? What if your choice has already started to affect you spiritually without you even knowing it? The ink on your skin may just be the beginning of a journey that could lead you into the unknown. The power of ancient symbols. Let's step back for a moment. Ancient cultures didn't just tattoo their bodies for the sake of style. They did it because they understood something that we've forgotten. They understood that tattoos are more than skin deep. They are symbols of power, of connection to divine forces, and in some cases forces that were less than divine. Take the ancient Egyptians, for instance. The Eye of Horus, a symbol of protection, was tattooed on warriors to shield them from evil spirits. But that same eye can also represent something far darker in occult traditions, something tied to surveillance and control. What if you're wearing a symbol that once served as a gateway to an entirely different realm, one that you didn't fully comprehend when you got it? And it's not just ancient symbols. Today, many people are getting tattoos related to astrology, the zodiac, and even paganism, belief systems that once tied people directly to spiritual realms. What if, unknowingly, you've tapped into an energy that's bigger than yourself? What if these symbols, these designs, hold an energy that calls to something, someone, outside of your understanding? Once that symbol is etched into your skin, it's no longer just about you. You've tapped into a current of power that could have lasting spiritual consequences. And now, that power could begin to influence you in ways you never expected. Spiritual portals and the unseen forces. Not all tattoos are born equal. You may think you're just getting a cool design, a personal mantra, or a badge of honor, but what if, instead of marking your identity, you're creating a spiritual portal, a gateway to realms unseen, a door that opens, inviting both light and darkness to enter? People who have tattoos tied to occult symbols or even spiritual practices often speak of a change, an emotional heaviness that follows them, an inexplicable shift in their energy. It's subtle at first. Maybe you start feeling more anxious, or perhaps your dreams become darker. Then, one day, it's as if a shadow has cast itself over your life, and you can't explain why. Could it be that your tattoo opened the door to that darkness? Could the very ink on your skin have invited oppressive forces into your life? And once those forces are invited in, they don't just leave. They linger, pulling at your energy, and you may not even realize it. The truth is, tattoos are more than just decorative. They are spiritual choices, choices that can bind you to energies you might not fully understand. Have you felt it, that nagging sense that something's just off? It's as if there's a force shadowing your every move, watching, waiting, and maybe, just maybe, that force was invited in the moment that tattoo needle hit your skin. The spiritual battle, understanding what you've invited in. Now, here's where the test begins. You have to decide whether to face what you've opened up or whether you'll continue to ignore the whispers in your spirit. The question is, can you handle what's come through that portal? The reality is, tattoos are a choice. You can choose the design, the placement, the meaning behind it. But you also need to recognize that every choice has a consequence. And that tattoo, that mark on your body, is no exception. You might think it's harmless, but could it be that you've invited something into your life that is more powerful than you ever imagined? This is the truth. They lied to you. Tattoos aren't just aesthetic, they are powerful, they are spiritual. And the next time you consider a tattoo, ask yourself, what is this really inviting into my life? What doors am I opening, and am I prepared for what walks through them? The choice is yours, and it's a choice that could change the course of your spiritual journey. The ancient knowledge, unveiling the hidden power of symbols. The secret history of symbols. Symbols have always held power. They're more than mere designs. They are the ancient codes of the universe, the keys that unlock portals to realms of influence we barely understand. But here's the truth most won't tell you. These symbols weren't just created for art. They were created for purpose. And some, perhaps unknowingly, were designed as gateways, portals to spiritual realms that carry consequences far beyond our comprehension. Have you ever noticed how certain symbols appear across cultures, across centuries? The Eye of Horus, the pentagram, the lotus flower, they're everywhere. But the question is, why? Why do these symbols persist through time? Why are they tattooed on our bodies, worn as amulets, and etched into buildings? Could it be that we're drawn to them because they carry a resonance, an energy that's more than just symbolic? People have always believed that symbols could influence the spiritual realm. Ancient cultures knew that the markings they wore weren't just for protection or strength. They were invitations. Invitations to gods, forces, or energies that lived outside the visible world. These symbols were meant to call on something much larger than ourselves. So, if you've ever wondered why certain tattoos feel like they resonate deeply within you, why they call to you even when you don't fully understand them, it's because they're tapping into something ancient, a spiritual energy, a force that's been waiting to respond to you for centuries. The spiritual impact of ancient symbols. Now, let's take a deeper look at the types of symbols that we often tattoo on our bodies. Ancient designs like the ankh, the pentacle, or the tree of life. These symbols are all powerful, yes, but what many don't realize is that these same symbols, while they can represent enlightenment, can also tie you to forces you might not be prepared to handle. Take the pentacle, for example. What was once a symbol of protection in ancient times has been twisted over the centuries by darker forces. It's now associated with the occult, witchcraft, and even demonic forces in some circles. What was once a representation of divine connection is now seen by some as a doorway to something much darker. And then there's the ankh, symbol of life and immortality. But did you know that the ankh is also tied to Egyptian deities, some of whom were believed to control the fate of souls after death? Could it be that, in getting that inked into your skin, you've unknowingly invited ancient gods to influence your path? You see, tattoos are not just tattoos. They're the embodiment of an energy, a call to something beyond our human understanding. Some symbols may protect, but others may open doors to realms that only those with great wisdom, or perhaps great risk, should explore. The rise of modern symbols and their hidden influence. In modern times, tattoos have evolved into a form of personal expression, art, and even rebellion. But what if, in this process of personalization, we've unknowingly reintroduced ancient symbols into our lives, unprepared for their true power? Think about the symbols that have been popularized in modern tattoos: the skull, the snake, the phoenix rising. To many, they're simply representations of change or survival or even death. But these symbols aren't new. They've been in human history for thousands of years, and each carries a meaning far more complex than what's on the surface. The snake, once revered as a symbol of transformation, also represents temptation, evil, and the fall of mankind in religious texts. The skull is a reminder of mortality, yes, but it also evokes death and destruction, themes that could tie you to a much darker energy if you're not careful. And the phoenix, rising from the ashes, may symbolize rebirth, but also has connections to occult practices and spiritual cycles that some have used for dark rituals. By choosing these tattoos, are we subconsciously inviting these energies into our lives? What if these symbols, rather than representing who we are now, are calling on forces that represent what we once were or what we could become? Some symbols once inked into your skin are not easily forgotten. They call to something deeper within you, something that can shift the course of your spiritual journey. Recognizing the power and responsibility of tattoos. So now the question remains, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Tattoos aren't just a way to mark your identity, they are an expression of your spiritual connection, and once the ink is in place, it's not easily erased. Have you ever considered what you've opened up with that tattoo? The symbols you choose today could impact your spiritual journey for years to come. Tattoos have the power to protect, but they can also bring oppression. They can open doors to realms of wisdom or to realms of destruction, and you need to be aware of which one you're calling upon. If you've already chosen a tattoo, ask yourself, what energy is it bringing into my life? What's it connecting me to? If you haven't yet, consider this. What do you want to invite in? Because the truth is, the tattoos we wear can either empower us or bind us. And the choice is always in our hands. Are you ready to face the truth of what your tattoos represent? The spiritual power they hold is real, and it's time you fully understood what you've been marked with. Spiritual consequences. What happens when you open the door to the enemy? The subtle power of spiritual portals. Let's go deeper now. You've heard the term spiritual portal before, but what does it truly mean? What happens when we open a doorway, even unknowingly, to something that lies beyond our understanding? These spiritual portals aren't just abstract ideas. They are real, tangible openings to energies, entities, and influences from realms you can't see. They don't just show up when we're in a spiritual or meditative state. No, they can appear in our day-to-day lives, and sometimes they make their presence known when we least expect it. Tattoos, those symbols inked into your skin, can serve as gateways. Think of it this way, each time you allow a symbol to become part of your body, you are embedding a key into your own spiritual essence. And this key, once in place, doesn't simply open one door, it opens multiple doors, each potentially leading to something or someone that could either help you or harm you. And the question we must all ask ourselves is, are we prepared for what comes through those doors? The dangers of opening the wrong door. It's easy to dismiss the potential dangers of tattoos as nothing more than superstition. It's just a picture, you might think. It's just art. What harm could it possibly do? But there's a reality to these symbols that goes far beyond aesthetics. When you ink a symbol onto your body, you may be inadvertently calling on the spiritual entities tied to it. This isn't just about personal expression or art. The symbols we wear on our skin are representations of energies, forces, power that can either protect us or, if we're not careful, curse us. Let's take the snake, for example, a symbol that may seem innocent enough, but in many cultures, the snake represents temptation, deception, and the fall of man. It's not just a creature, it's a symbol of spiritual struggle, of choices made that lead to dangerous consequences. By tattooing a snake, are you inviting these energies into your life? Are you opening the door to temptation, to deception, to darkness? You might think you've made a statement, but what if that statement carries a price? The same goes for the eye, the all-seeing eye, a symbol of protection to some, but to others, it's a sign of surveillance, of spiritual surveillance. When you ink it into your skin, you might think you're inviting higher knowledge, but what if that knowledge comes with a cost? What if it opens your spirit to a realm where those who watch you have more power than you ever intended to give them? The fight for control when the enemy takes hold. There's a dark side to opening spiritual doors, and that's where the enemy steps in. You see, not every portal that opens is for your benefit. Some doors are gateways to negative forces that will use everything in their power to influence you. The enemy is strategic, calculating. He knows exactly where to strike and how to manipulate. When you wear a symbol that calls to these forces, you're not just inviting a small influence. You're inviting an entire realm to begin working in your life. It doesn't matter if you're aware of it or not, these energies begin to take hold. They influence your decisions, your relationships, even your thoughts. And soon you'll find yourself battling with forces you didn't even know existed. And it's not just an attack on your spirit. It's an attack on your peace, your freedom, your identity. Tattoos that connect you to the enemy don't just affect your soul, they disrupt your entire life. The clarity you once had begins to fade. The peace you once felt becomes a distant memory. And the deeper you go into the spiritual battle, the harder it becomes to fight back. But here's the thing, the enemy doesn't just take over your life, he distorts it. The more you feed these negative energies, the more they twist your path until you're no longer walking your true journey. And all the while, you remain unaware, thinking you've simply made an aesthetic choice. The path to redemption, closing spiritual portals. But all hope is not lost. It's never too late to reclaim your life and your spirit. The good news is, spiritual portals can be closed. The power of redemption is real. If you've opened doors that you now regret, there is a way back. The first step is awareness. Understanding the power of what you've done and acknowledging the spiritual implications is the beginning of your healing. If you've invited negative forces into your life, the first thing you need to do is ask for divine intervention. Pray for protection, for strength, and for guidance. Then you must take responsibility. This is the hard part, accepting that you have the power to close those doors. It requires action. It may involve removing the tattoos that serve as portals to darkness, but it could also mean spiritually cleansing yourself through prayer, fasting, and other rituals that seek to restore balance to your spirit. Remember, it's not about regret, it's about transformation. Every door you've opened can be closed, and every path you've walked down can be redirected toward the light. You have the power to rewrite your spiritual journey, no matter how far off course you've gone. Your past doesn't define you. The symbols you wear on your skin don't own you. What matters is the decision you make today. Will you take the step to reclaim your spiritual freedom, to close the doors that should never have been opened, and to protect yourself from further harm? It's up to you. The divine protection, how to guard your spirit from harm. The power of divine protection. Every soul has its battles. Whether we're aware of it or not, we're constantly fighting spiritual forces. But the good news is, you don't have to fight alone. There's a higher power, a divine force, that's been with you since the beginning, guiding, protecting, and shielding you from the darkness you can't see. Divine protection is not just a concept, it's a reality. When you make the decision to reclaim your life, to step away from the enemy's grasp, you activate the force of divine protection in your life. This protection doesn't mean you won't face challenges, it means you'll be armed, equipped, and shielded in ways that will keep you safe even when you don't understand the threat. You might have heard the phrase, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." It's not just a verse, it's a promise. A promise that the divine will guard you, guide you, and stand by you through every trial you face. The key here is knowing that no weapon formed against you will prosper when you're under the divine's protection. And this divine protection isn't just for the spiritual elite, it's for you. It's for everyone who chooses to align their path with the divine. And the best part, it's always available, always accessible, and always ready to respond to your call. Recognizing the subtle signs of divine protection. Sometimes divine protection isn't as loud as we might expect. It's not always a bolt of lightning or a dramatic intervention. More often it's subtle. It's in the whispers of warning, the sudden moments of clarity, or the unexplained sense of peace when things should be chaotic. You've probably had moments where you narrowly avoided disaster or situations where you felt an undeniable sense of calm when everything around you screamed to panic. Those aren't coincidences. Those are the whispers of divine protection, guiding you, shielding you from what could have been harmful. Divine protection works in ways that we can't always explain. Sometimes it shows up as a feeling of unease, a subtle nudge telling you to turn left instead of right. Other times it comes in the form of someone unexpected showing up at the right moment, offering just what you needed. And in other instances, it's the strength you find within yourself when you thought you were at your breaking point. It's not about avoiding challenges or temptations. It's about having the strength, wisdom, and guidance to face them head on. With divine protection, you'll always have the tools you need to fight the good fight. Strengthening your spiritual armor. So how do you ensure that this divine protection remains steadfast? How do you strengthen your spiritual armor against the forces that seek to harm you? The answer lies in staying connected to the divine. This connection isn't just about occasional prayers or fleeting moments of spirituality. It's about daily, intentional engagement with the source of your power. Spiritual armor is built through a consistent practice of prayer, meditation, and living in alignment with the divine principles that guide you. It's about knowing your worth, understanding your divine purpose, and refusing to let anything or anyone rob you of your peace. The stronger your connection, the more fortified your spirit becomes, and with that armor, no weapon, no evil force, no temptation will be able to tear you down. You'll be able to stand firm in the knowledge that you're not alone in this fight. Divine protection surrounds you, and nothing can touch you without permission. Closing the spiritual doors once and forever. Now let's address the most important part of this journey, closing the spiritual doors you've unknowingly opened. You've learned that tattoos can serve as spiritual portals, but the beauty of divine protection is that it provides you with the power to close those doors permanently. To close these doors, it takes action, prayer, repentance, and conscious decisions to disconnect from the spiritual forces that have found their way into your life. It means severing ties with things that no longer serve your highest good. It means taking a stand for your own peace and spiritual sovereignty. Let me be clear. Once you close these doors, they remain closed. The divine will protect you, will shield you from the harm that seeks to break through, and from that point forward, you walk in the light, free from the oppression you once invited in. The journey of spiritual protection isn't an easy one, but it's a necessary one. And once you embrace the power of the divine and close those spiritual doors, nothing can hold you back from stepping into the life you were always meant to live. You are protected, you are safe, and now you have the strength to guard your spirit from anything that tries to come against it. Embracing your divine purpose, walking in your power, the final awakening. You've felt it, haven't you? The stirring deep within, calling you to something greater. You've come this far, and now the final awakening is upon you. This is where everything changes. This is where you finally step into the life you were always destined for. All the lessons, all the trials, all the pain, they've been preparing you for this very moment. The divine has been calling you. It's been whispering to you, nudging you forward. Now, the question is, will you finally listen? Will you embrace the purpose that has been laid before you, even though it's not easy, even though the world may question your every step? This is not a time for hesitation. This is the moment you've been waiting for. The world doesn't need more followers. It needs leaders, people who are willing to stand up, to rise above fear, doubt, and confusion, and to claim their divine purpose. And you're being called to be one of them. Will you rise? Will you be the leader that others look to for guidance, for truth, for inspiration? The road to self-discovery. Stepping into your divine purpose is not about seeking approval from others. It's about embracing who you are in all your complexity and divinity. It's about understanding that the path you walk is unique to you, and that's exactly how it was meant to be. Every step you take, every decision you make, is a choice toward embracing the fullness of your being. The more you choose to trust yourself, to trust the divine, the clearer your path becomes. It's like the mist starts to clear, revealing a road that was always there, waiting for you to take it. But the road isn't always easy. There will be doubts, there will be challenges, but remember this: those doubts are only distractions. The enemy will try to convince you that you're not enough, that you're not equipped, that you're not capable. But that's a lie. You are more than enough. And with the divine by your side, there is no challenge you cannot overcome. Self-discovery is a journey of reclaiming who you are, of remembering the power, wisdom, and love that is within you. You've been given everything you need to succeed. All you need to do is walk in it. The power of action. Now, here's the critical part: action. The divine purpose you've uncovered, the strength you've gained through your spiritual journey, it all means nothing if you don't act. It's time to move. Action is what separates the dreamers from the doers, and the world needs you to be a doer. The time is now to put all that you've learned into practice, to stand tall, to speak boldly, to be the leader you were called to be. Look around you. The world is desperate for change, for truth, for light. You've been given the responsibility to shine that light, to make a difference in ways you've only begun to understand. But you must act. You must take the first step, even when the road seems unclear. You are the one who is meant to lead. You are the one who has the power to influence those around you, to show them a better way. Will you accept this? Will you stand in your power even when fear tries to hold you back? Embracing your divine mission. Today is the day you accept your calling, the day you embrace your divine purpose without hesitation or doubt. You've already been chosen for this mission. There is no turning back now. But you're not walking this journey alone. The divine is with you every step of the way. And as long as you continue to walk in faith, in truth, and in alignment with your divine purpose, you will be unstoppable. You were not created to blend in. You were created to stand apart, to lead, to change the world in ways that only you can. Your purpose is greater than any obstacle, and now it's time for you to step fully into it. Take the step, walk the path, lead the way. If you're ready to step into your divine purpose, if you're ready to walk in the power and protection that is rightfully yours, take action now. This is your time. Like, subscribe, and share this journey with others who need to hear this message. Together, we'll walk this path of transformation. You were called for such a time as this, and the world is waiting for you to rise. Are you ready? The time is now.